how has Banaras as a city actually inspired you to work wherever you are?
Varanasi has so much of culture around the city. Even if you walk on the road, you will end up learning something or the other. I did a lot of research, on ground research. That's when I got to know that the image of our city very different, whereas the reality is quite different.
The demands of the other people versus the demands of the Banarasi people as whole.
Interest of Banarasi is Gyan. One thing is good about the people of Banaras is they know what they want. I mean, on one side we have the pilgrimage site of it. On the other side, you have really fancy cafes. There are so many options available in the market. But he said, I don't want anything which is similar to what is available in the market. Prints showing a spit of
Okay.
fun on it.
Recently had Banaras Literature Fest, and you were indeed an integral part of it. So, sir, can you please tell us more about it?
No one else but Mr. Nilesh Mishra. It was a golden moment. I still have that moment in my mind. Till the time the city doesn't grow, the resources don't grow, there should be a debate on this whether we should.
Banaras, the eternal city where tradition breathes through its ghats and innovation in its bydings. Welcome, dear listeners, to Vox Populi, the voices of people. Today is the first episode of our new series, Banaras with a Twist, where we delve deeper into the heart of Banaras. Because Banaras is not just papri chaat or its beautiful souvenirs. Banaras is that every person who toils relentlessly to redefine it. Ladies and gentlemen, who is better to kickstart this journey than a man who has stitched together heritage with haute couture? A man who is not just a name, but rather a narrative. An entrepreneur, a speaker, a mentor, a fashion retail expert, and of course, a proud Banarasi. Mr. Dhawal Prakash Agrawal. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much. And thanks for such a fancy introduction.
Sir also has a case study published on his entrepreneurship journey by the All India Management Association. From the iconic Raymond showroom established by his father to now leading a multi-city empire. Sir is not just redefining fashion retail or building a business. He is building Banaras as whole. So ladies and gentlemen, let's tune in. Sir, with your permission, shall we begin with the podcast?
Sure.
Sir, as we know that you are the fourth generation entrepreneur. So, sir, how has Banaras as a city actually inspired you to work wherever you are?
Okay. So, Varanasi has so much of culture around the city and it has such diverse kind of people. Even if you walk on the road, you will end up learning something or the other from anyone walking on the road. इस शहर में सब ज्ञानी है तो इतना ज्ञान है इस शहर में इतना कुछ सीखने को मिलता है इस शहर में इससे ज़्यादा बड़ी बात कुछ हो नहीं सकती है so that's the inspiration of being in the city.
So, sir, what was that one moment when you said, this is my call, I need Banaras, I need to stay here, I need to work here?
So, to be precise, actually, when I was in college, I did a dissertation project in buying behavior of young rural consumers. That's when I started traveling to the nearby small cities, the feeder towns of Varanasi. And, I did a lot of research, on ground research. That's when I got to know that the image of our city and the surrounding areas outside UP, the image is very different, whereas the reality is quite different. There's a lot of potential. People have the hunger to learn, to grow, and to give back as well. So I think the kind of self-motivated people that we have in our city, you don't find it in any other city. I think that is one calling.
So, sir, as we already know that the Raymond shop in Varanasi began with your father. So, sir, how do you keep this legacy alive while actually adapting to the changes?
So, in any industry that you are, you have to constantly strive for innovation. You have to keep adding on something. So, although I'm bound by a certain framework of my brand, but within that also, I try to keep innovating new things, new services, new products, which are, probably not just told to me by my brand, but it is custom made for the city. So I think that is one thing that keeps us on the top of the head of our consumers.
So, what difference have you noticed from like the demands of the other people versus the demands of the Banarasi people as whole? So, like, what's that one special thing which Banarasis bring to your plate?
One thing is good about the people of Banaras is they know what they want. No matter how much you try to convince them, no matter how much you try to, sell something that you want to sell, they are pretty straightforward. They know what they want. So that makes us our job very easy.
So, sir, like, what's that one thing which you have noticed the common interest of Banarasis? What is the common interest of Banarasis as whole?
Common interest of Banarasi is Gyan.
And when it comes to fashion, because we already have seen that people are actually influenced, but what has influenced the majority of the young population over here? What is the young population demands?
So I think the young population here also likes to get likes to be very well dressed in whatever occasion they are. So it's not like they'll be ill dressed, underdressed, or overdressed. Each youngster wants to be accurately dressed for the occasion, which is something you don't find in every city. It's the culture of the city where they want to be well and accurately dressed for the occasion, which is very nice.
There's one special demand of the youngsters which sets them apart. So I just wanted to know the demand. Like, what's the demand in the sense of the clothing?
So see, I mean, the thing is that each human being is different, each person is different, everyone has a different DNA. So we cannot generalize that. We can only generalize the consumer behavior. So the behavior of the youngsters in our city is that they want to be accurately dressed for each occasion that they are in. I think that's the best way I feel I can put it. It's not like a common color or a common style that everybody would like to wear. It's not that. Everybody has a different persona. So, it's just that they want to be accurately dressed. So, it's like they know, when I said they know what they want to wear, so it's like they have an idea. They'll get some images, they'll get some reference pictures, and they will say, this is what I want. So that is they are like aware. They are updated about what is happening, what is new in the industry, what will suit me. They come with a preconceived notion, which is not very common in every city.
So, as you right now mentioned that the choices of the people or the demands of the people actually varies from person to person. So, sir, how do you actually manage to infuse this modern design into cities so steeped in tradition without actually compromising on its true soul?
Okay. So I'll tell you what, to sell any product, you have to sell stories, you have to sell dreams. So somebody who might not have even thought that I can look like this celebrity or I can carry this look, you have to indulge into a conversation with that person and you have to give him that confidence that if you wear this attire, you will definitely be able to carry that look. And once anyone is confident that I'll be able to carry this look, I think that inner confidence in itself just solves the purpose. So if anyone is confident that I can, if usually in back in the day, let's say for example, pink is one color which all guys used to shy away from. But in today's time, I can tell you that all the pastel colors, the pinks, and all the colors that girls wear, even guys are wearing the same kind of colors. You might be surprised to know that guys are wearing pink these days. They're wearing yellow. They're wearing mint in Varanasi. At times, we are also surprised that how will this person wear. But there's a lot of influence of Bollywood, the Bollywood weddings. So, and due to social media and digital awareness, everyone knows what is happening right now. So if there's a Bollywood wedding happening in Italy, let's say, so today itself we'll get to know what are the celebrities wearing in their wedding, and tomorrow you will have one customer asking for the same attire. That's how fashion is working these days. So digital media is helping us shape the fashion of the city.
So, sir, like, how do you perceive this change as? Is it something which is really positive? or is it not actually positive? It's actually detrimental for the fashion industry.
No, definitely it is very positive. So I'll tell you, there's a saying that fashion is ugly. Why? Because if it was not ugly, it wouldn't change. So if we don't, change with fashion, actually, then you're not fashionable. You have to keep changing. Fashion is a cycle. In earlier days, you could see people wearing bell bottoms. Then came the time of slim fits, and now again you see bell bottoms. It's a cycle. So if it doesn't change, then you're not on the right path. So it has to change. We have to constantly keep adopting. So it is a good thing, it's a positive thing that people of Banaras are very well aware. They want to adapt to change and they want to keep wearing new things. Otherwise, our business will be in trouble.
Indeed, it's all about change. It's all about adapting. And I must have heard this rhetoric in my school life that, yeah, you need to adapt to the changes, you need to adapt to the timetable. But yeah, it's even evident in the fashion industry, and it's good to know, in fact. So, sir, like, this question just randomly crossed my mind. As we already know, as you have already told us about your fashion retail experts, about your designing and all. So, sir, if I ask you a hypothetical question, that if you have to dress Banaras in your suits, how would you design it?
Okay. So when we say suits, first picture that you can get into your mind that it's a formal attire. It's a business attire. It's a formal attire. You only wear it on official occasions. Okay. But when it comes to Banaras, we have to give it a little bit of a ethnicity as well, right? So I think we can probably incorporate something from the Nehru times, from the Gandhian times, and something like what I'm wearing, a band gala. I think that is something that really suits everyone because even in school, kids don't like to wear ties, and the same goes for Banarsi people. They don't like to wear ties. They don't want to be tied with something. They want to be free. So I think that is one attire that I think really suits people of Banaras, and it's really in demand these days. They don't like to be wearing, something which is really doing good in the Western culture. They like originality. They like to be grounded. They like to wear their own fashion. So I think, yeah, Bangalas is one thing that I would like to dress up Banarsis in.
Okay, I definitely did not expect you saying that a pale green suit with some glitters because after all, it's khai ke paan banaras wala, khul jaye banda kal ka tala. Never mind. So moving ahead. So we already know that you are a speaker, you are a mentor. So sir, how is this power sharing really important in our society, in our culture, and how does it help shaping the culture?
So I feel, like in the course of your life, you keep having so many experiences and a lot of thoughts and a lot of experiences are lying deep down inside in my mind. It's only when we start sharing those things, that those experiences come out. And while talking to you, if I'm getting a thought which was there in my mind or an experience that was there in my mind 10 years back, and it must have been a good experience, that's why it's been in my mind, right? And through this conversation, if I'm able to recall that, it gives me happiness. So personally, for me, this is why sharing is important. And I also feel when we share, like for example, if I share something with you today, the next time I'm sharing something about the same topic, I will definitely learn something more about that because I don't want to, have a plateau in my life. I would want to share something different with you next time that I have a conversation about this topic. So I need to keep updating myself as well. That hunger to keep ourselves updated, I think that is my personal reason for sharing. And definitely the society shapes you up throughout your life. So if you do not give back to society, I don't think you can grow. It is very, very important to share what you know, to give back to society, and that's the only way you can grow.
Indeed, sir. In fact, that's the way cultures grow, and that's the way Banaras grew as whole. So, sir, the next question, we have already seen Banaras growing, Banaras transforming. I mean, Banaras 200 years back is not the same today. So, sir, how do you envision Banaras growing or accepting this fashion retail industry in the next decade?
Okay. So, see, Banaras as a city, in order to survive, I think it needs to first, expand the, the area, the geographical area of the city. I think the seed for that has already been sowed, right? We know that a lot of new townships and everything is being planned. So if I relate that to my business, when when urbanization will happen, new housing, concepts will keep coming in. There'll be a population explosion in the city, and there'll be occasions to celebrate, and hence our business will also contribute to the occasions, because without being well dressed, any occasion is incomplete. So I feel that it's going to be something very, very positive for the clothing industry.
So, sir, that's how the clothing industry works and that's how it grows. So, festivals and, in fact, occasions play a very prominent role in this. So, sir, give us your take. Ghats or gullies?
Ghats.
And what's your favorite twist in Banaras?
Favorite twist in Banaras. Okay. So at one point of time, I mean, on one side we have the pilgrimage site of it, where you have pandits and aarti and boat ride. On the other side, you have really fancy cafes near the ghats,
Really true.
where you will see all the foreigners flocking by. You have a tea experience, you have German bakeries, you have people making different kinds of breads. And, I think that side of Banaras, I think that, and both are in very close proximity to each other. I think that's the best twist of Banaras.
So, sir, often these twists, some or the other way, give rise to some abstracts in our minds, which we really want to, ensure that we are able to do something of that abstract idea which is in our mind. So, sir, was that any abstract in your mind when you visited the lanes or ghats of Varanasi?
I didn't really get your question
Okay,
properly.
I'll tell
Sorry.
you. So basically, the question was, in our day-to-day life, we come across a lot of abstracts. As in, if you're sitting over here, maybe some or the other way, some ornaments or some sector of this room might serve as an abstract, which might trigger an idea in your mind. So, sir, how do you actually execute such ideas if you get a trigger like that?
In my work.
Yes, sir, in your work.
That's a tough question.
Because, sir, the first part of a particular thing, getting an idea is really easy because you come across a lot of ideas in your mind. But the fact that you need to execute it, and the fact that executing it on quotes and wops and webs is not really easy.
So the only way I think I can incorporate an idea into my work, or I can take inspiration from something and execute it in my work, is through the garments that we make, right? So inspiration from the city and executing it into a garment.
So as in, like, sometimes the colors are also inspired by the colors of Varanasi.
Yes.
Maybe yellow color is inspired with the beautiful sunset we comes across.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So see, I'll tell you what. When we make garments, it's made according to, since we are mostly serving the wedding industry. So the garments are made as per the occasion and as per the time of the occasion. So let's say, for example, there's a wedding. Okay. Now it depends whether it's a day wedding or it's a night wedding, evening wedding. Whether it's an indoor wedding or it's an outdoor wedding. So if it's a day wedding, you will like to wear light colors. If it's a indoor wedding, if it's a evening wedding, you would prefer to wear darker colors. Okay. Similarly, in indoor and outdoor. So let's say if you have a wedding in Goa, you might want to wear a linen fabric. But if the wedding is, let's say, in a cooler place where it's fully air conditioned and the temperatures, let's say someone has a wedding in Jammu, you would want to wear a polywool fabric. So a lot of these factors, affect the kind of garment that we are wanting to make. So if I talk about inspiration from Varanasi as such, as you said, certain colors that are there, I think Varanasi has all the colors. Okay,
Very
so
true.
yeah, but still there are hues of blue and yellow and green. If we refer to the Ganges, that is there. A lot of embroidery that happens on the garments. Those elements also come from a lot of abstracts in Varanasi. So yeah, they are small little things because the fashion of the men fashion is not too loud. It's more about elegance. So it's just about picking up small little elements and incorporating it into the garment. You will not find men garments to be very loud. Even if you follow the recent Met Gala or any other event like the Cannes Film Festival, you would mostly see all the men or the male celebrities just carrying a tuxedo, whereas the females would be wearing fancy gowns, flowing all over, people holding their gowns. But men usually would not wear. It's only in the Met Gala that the garments are a little bit, you can say weird because it's meant to be that way. It's a fundraising event where different celebrities come wearing different kind of vague kind of garments. Recently, we saw Shah Rukh Khan and Sabyasachi and a lot of other Indian actors who were there. So that is the only festival where you wear something that is so absurd or that because it's meant to be there. But in day-to-day life or in day-to-day fashion, it's just the small elements that change the look of the garment. So I think that's about it. A little bit in the cuts, a little bit in the embroidery. It's in the garments, in the fittings. So recently, I'll tell you, there was this customer who wanted to have different kind of buttons in the garment, and there are so many options available in the market. But he said, I don't want anything which is similar to what's available in the market. Okay. And I know this is getting a bit long, but I'm just happening. It's something different to share. So we got our hands on to ox horn buttons. So it's interesting to know that ox horn buttons made of ox horn gets exported from Varanasi to European countries, and we got him ox horn buttons. So this is not something that I can say that I picked up from the market like that, but you can say yeah, it is something that is different that we incorporate into our garment. I think this is the best way I could put everything into the picture. Yeah.
Really true. So actually answered my question. So indeed, it's really good to know that our Banaras is actually growing, is actually transforming. Okay, while we were talking about Met Gala, one thing which just crossed my mind is the fact that what if, in a hypothetical world, there is a Met Gala and it is going to be a Banaras Met Gala? How would you perceive it to be?
So there'll be dhotis, there'll be gamchas used as stoles.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much more. You might see people having pan in their mouth while coming to the Met Gala. So recently I saw a shirt which was selling for around 40,000 rupees. And you know what was different about that shirt? It was a plain sky blue shirt with the ink mark on the bottom of the pocket, chest pocket. That is for fashion. So if we were to take inspiration for something like that, you could have a. I'm just saying, since you said weird and
Yeah.
different, so you could have a, print showing a spit of
Okay.
pan on it. For all I can imagine.
That would be actually interesting, and that would be true Banaras. Yeah, true that. So as we know, we recently had Banaras Literature Fest, and you were indeed an integral part of it. So, sir, can you please tell us more about it?
So, Banaras Lit Fest was a 3-day festival where we had musicians, authors, speakers. We had personalities from varied fields from pan India. Okay, and it was one festival where first time I saw that award winning artists came ahead themselves and they wanted to participate in it because it was Banaras. If you even do a very small festival in Banaras, small in terms of the magnitude, just because of being in Banaras, it's like everyone wants to be a part of it. We had more than 100 authors who participated into the festival. We had to tell people to get off the stage. We had an open mic which was for students ideally, but because few of the nationally known artists could not take part in the slots that we had, they came and participated in our open mic. So that was the level of Banaras Lit Fest, and it has been growing from the past 3 seasons. And next time, we want that at least 1 lakh people come to visit Banaras Lit Fest in the 3 days that we do it next time.
So, what was your favorite moment in that festival?
The favorite moment was when Mr. Amol Palekar was there on the stage, and he was talking about his book, and the session was being moderated by no one else but Mr. Nilesh Mishra. Mr. Nilesh Mishra in himself is a great personality. He speaks so well and he has his own fan following. And he was moderating the session talking about the book launch of Mr. Amol Palekar. So I think that was the moment. It was beautiful. It was just very, very glorifying. It was a golden moment. I still have that moment in my mind. That was really magical.
It was actually the moment, I must say.
Yes.
One more question which just crossed my mind is that you have right now mentioned and you have been to high school debates. So, sir, if I have to imagine, what's that one question which often crosses your mind when you think of Banaras? Like Banaras in a debate.
Banaras in a debate.
So there are a lot of debates sparking in Banaras itself. So what's that spark in Banaras?
Should we let more tourists come into the city?
Why not so?
Because in a way, it's definitely contributing to the economy of the city as well. But because of limited resources, it is also choking our city. And it's making life difficult for the residents of our city to, live peacefully. When the Kumbh was going on, we couldn't get out of our houses. We could only see cars from different states. It was difficult to lead our daily lives. Children couldn't go to school. I think even you must have attended online classes when Kumbh was there. I mean, I think that must be the only year in the history of Banaras when the kids attended least amount of physical classes. So I think it's a big debate today whether we should let, like in Greece, the residents of the country, they said we don't want more tourists because their lives were getting affected. And definitely it's the same scenario here. Till the time the city doesn't grow, the resources don't grow, there should be a debate on this whether we should let more tourists and floating population come into the city or not. The kind of rise that we are seeing in number of homestays, number of hotels, each and every look and corner. Just imagine if all of those, homestays and all of those rooms are filled with tourists. Will we have space to walk around in the city? Will we have our freedom to live and do what we do each day of our life? I think it's a debate. It's something to ponder upon.
Yeah, in fact, it's an issue which is less thought about because people think tourism has something really interesting, but it's really good to know that we need to perceive tourism from a different angle. So, sir, okay, you need to complete this statement now. Banaras.
Surprise question.
Yes, sir. That's the surprise question I was talking about. Banaras lives in me because
Banaras lives in me because I accept Banaras the way it is.
acceptance indeed. If Banaras had to describe me, it would describe me as
If Banaras had to describe me, it would describe me as, you need one word or you want me to say a sentence?
sentence works, even a word works.
Okay. I'll have to think. I'll need some time. It's a difficult one.
Indeed, that's why it was a surprise question.
Yeah. So if Banaras was to describe me, it would describe me as a Banarsi boy who learned and got back to Banaras to give back to Banaras.
Indeed, that's really hitting me. So, what was that one thing we learned from Banaras, which you'd like to share to our audience?
So people here have a lot of patience, lot of persistence, lot of resilience, a lot of things at times, that might irritate us. That, if you say no to someone, but that person still keeps on, insisting that, you should do this, you should do that, or you should try this, you should try that. In a bigger town, people don't have that much of patience and they might get irritated. But here, no matter till what extent you go, and no, doesn't matter how many times you pursue someone, the other person will always be very patient and they will hear you out, they will give you time, and that is one thing that keeps Banaras going and growing. So I think that's one good thing about the people of Banaras. They have a lot of patience.
That's really inspiring, sir. And that's the fact, maybe, that's the reason why Banaras is also addressed as the spiritual capital of India. Thank you so much, sir, for this engaging, inspiring, and definitely engrossing conversation. Well, to our audience, stay tuned for more such updates because we bring to you a series which is not just about Banarasi people, but it's also about perceiving Banaras in a different way. Today, we learned that Banaras is not just clothes, it's also even more. It's the people who design it because we often do care about people who actually work for us. So stay tuned for more updates. This was Vox Populi, the voices of people. Keep your hearts open and your minds turned in. Thank you and Jai Hind.